Hey guys, hoping this to be a shorter video. This is on time. What do you do with your time? How do you spend your time? Do you hurry? Do you run around with your head cut off, so busy that you are exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally? You can't give back to anyone because you are just overwhelmed and tired and exhausted. If this is your life, you need to change it. I just want to tell a quick story about what happened in my spiritual awakening, I guess. It isn't until I slowed my life down that I started hearing from the Lord. When we stay in a rat race where we don't know whether we're coming or going, where there's not even a minute that you feel like you can breathe, where you are just like, oh, do I have to do that? Like, I have to do that, and 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 I just am so tired, and I just want the craziness to stop. It's chaos. It's madness. It's like, why? Why are you doing this to yourself? I don't know. I'll tell you why. Blair had a great message today, and it's one that I've heard a lot of times. I'm also reading a book. I don't know the author right now, but I know I did post it on my Facebook. Something about hurry. And he was a pastor of this mega church, and he went on this retreat, and he came back and he resigned. And he went to a smaller church because he saw that his life was spiraling out of control. And you know, the crazy thing about it is, like, if you don't know how to say no and you just keep picking up this and this and doing this and this and this, you are so distracted. Like, you are getting so off the beaten trail of where God has you on purpose, because you're getting sidetracked here and there and everywhere. And it's just like you're chasing your tail. And that's not the way life is supposed to be. Like, you know, you've heard the saying, take time to smell the roses, because, you know, you go by that rose bush so fast that you barely glimpse that the rose is beautiful, let alone do you stop and smell it and take in the sensation or the sense of the aroma of how it truly smells, and taking that time to just be still. Like, yeah. And that is an intentional thing that you have to do. It's called setting priorities. It's called setting boundaries. And what do you want your life to look like? You have created this craziness. You have created it. I created it. The thing is because I'm a learner and I have a growth mentality, I'm not going to stay stuck. Okay. I'm going to find ways to do life different. And I have. And so because I have, I know that you can too. So you can only help those that you have been in their shoes and you've walked through it and you walked out of it. Okay. And so guys, if you have this crazy life, you just have to make some decisions. You have to really think what's important in your life. Okay. And God showed me that He was the most important, and I was lacking in that area. I wasn't putting Him first. I was putting my kids, my job, other people, just everybody before Him. And so He's like quickly showed me, you got me out of order. So you've got your priorities out of order. And then so I started putting Him first. And then He started making me aware of the other things that I was doing wrong in the priority department. And one of those things were I was investing in the lives of everybody else more than the lives of those around me that God entrusted and gave me to nourish and cherish. I'm still pretty bad about not spending a lot of time with my parents. And I need to, because they're getting older and they won't always be around. So I'm working on that, or at least in my mind, I'm working on that, and I need to take some action steps. But you know, our craziness and our hurry, that's from the enemy. And Blair spoke a message today that was really on point and good. How the enemy wants to keep you distracted. Because if you stay distracted, you can't be seeking God's will and purpose in your life because you don't have time to even hear from him. And so he doesn't care if you so much believe in him. What he doesn't want you to do is to surrender and give your life to Christ. Because when you do that, so many people will be free and the enemy will no longer have them chained. And so we have to really stay focused and aware of where the enemy is going to tempt us and get us distracted. You know, and when you figure that out, you can not easily get tripped up. Now, are you going to get tripped up? Probably so. Probably so. Because there's things that come into our life, people that come into our life, situations, and we tend to lose our focus and we start either concentrating it on that. And so it's taking away the time and attention from over here. And then it's a distraction. And so when you recognize that, you say, oh, I've got to lay off thinking about that because my focus is supposed to be over here. And so I know the schemes of the enemy. You know, Jesus was tempted right after he got baptized. He was led, the Spirit led him to the garden with Satan. And he was saying, you know, like he had been fasting, I think it was for 40 days, and he was hungry. And Jesus was a real human being. And so he had the same things that, you know, he got hungry, he got tired, he got lonely. And I'm sure he was lonely and tired. And of course, hungry. If I hadn't eaten for 40 days, I'd be hungry. And so, you know, Satan was like, you can make those rocks into bread. Why don't you do that? You know, and then he goes to say, you know, another temptation was, you know, jumping off of a mountain or something. I can't remember exactly, but like you can call upon the angels, they'll catch you. Okay. And so both of these instances where he kept being tempted, Jesus used scripture to dispel the enemy's lies. And so when you know scripture and you know God's heart and his mind, then you're easily more able to discern that voice. Okay. If you don't know scripture and you don't have a relationship with the Lord, you know, you believe in him, but you don't have a relationship with him, there's a difference. It's a, you know, I can have an acquaintance and then I can have a friend. The difference in the acquaintance is I know of that person. You know, hi, you're my friend. We use the friend word so loosely. Like, people we come into contact with will call them our friend. Even Facebook people will say, my friend. No, they're Facebook acquaintances. They're not your friends. Friends you invest time in. Friends you love. Friends you spend time with. You talk to. You walk the path with them. You help them when they're in need. You listen. You give them benefit out. I don't know. You show more. You give more of yourself. Okay. Well, a lot of us, we think of Jesus like he's an acquaintance. You know, I occasionally might see him at church, but you haven't made him your friend. Definitely not haven't made him your father or your Lord. So there's different levels, and it all depends on how much you spend time with him, how much you know him. You know, it's just like studying for a test. If you don't study your exam, it's like you're going to fail the test. Well, there's the Bible. That's the blueprint for life. If we're not in it, studying it, not just studying it. Okay, that's the big fallacy there. You have to apply. So it's not just study, it's application. Okay, you have to take what God is telling you and saying, and regardless of your will, I mean, it might say, do not do this. And you're like, I don't want to talk to them. but it says do da 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 da, okay? And you're like, you just got to do it, okay? And you just have to, because this is what God's telling you to do. So you're applying it. Now, are we always going to do that? Absolutely not. He told me the other day not to do something, and I did it anyway. And then it was like, see all those thoughts that are flooding into your brain? That's why. That's why, because you didn't listen to me. And so we can't have complete peace if we're just disobeying God. Okay? And so as human, we do that. We sin. Okay? And so anyway, how do we get to hurry? Here we're on hurry, and I've got us in this situation. Anyway, I chase that rabbit sometimes. So let's swing that rabbit back out. Hurrying can make you just spin around in circles, guys. You've got to make priorities in your life. Oh, that's where I was. I was talking about the priorities. God has to be first. And then he told me that family needed to be important and spend time with them. And so we can lose our focus. And the things that really matter to us, we can lose because of our busyness and in the choices that we're making. And when we're so hurried, we can't hear from God so much. And the enemy is distracting you with hurry. And you, as a believer and as a person, if you want a peaceful, happy life, not perfect, but peaceful, happy life, you have to slow the brain down. And that choice is yours. You have to make the choice. So, I'm praying for you. I know it's difficult. I know. I have a similar talk like this. And I can't remember the title of it. But it must be obviously important because the Lord is telling me, share this again. Share this again. Let people know that you have to slow down or you're not going to hear from me and life's not going to be what you want it to be because you're too busy. Okay, so guys, take the trip, make the time, say no, do what you need to do. It is when you make those decisions that your life will be blessed. And you will see God. You will see the goodness of God because you listen to him and that faith will give you results. There's results, you know. And that's all I got to say for you. Hope you have a restful Sunday because we are supposed to rest at least one day a week. You do no work, but you go smell the roses. You take a walk. You go out to eat with a friend. You go visit your family that you haven't seen in a while. You read the book. You go lay out in the sun. Go to the pool. Do something that is relaxing. Don't work. Save that for tomorrow. And if it can't be Sunday, because you know there's pastors and there's people that work in the ministry, that's work for them. So that's really not rest. So maybe you need to make your day Saturday or Monday or Tuesday. You know, it's just called for a Sabbath day, a day of rest. Even Jesus did that. So anyway, hope you have a restful Sunday and that your soul is at peace and you feel good. And yeah, so have a happy rest of the day.